Okay, let's do a quick mic check. Make sure it sounds okay. Hey Heather, how you doing? Have I been muted this whole time? I've been talking, but I probably was muted the whole time. It happens. Unintentionally talking while being muted is pretty common. I was saying while I was putting the easel, my not easel, my tripod away, that I every time I take a photo of my paintings for my video and for my website and everything, um, I have to take my camera off of the tripod up here, unscrew the little attachment, screw on the different attachment, set up the tripod, set it up, take a photo, and then undo everything and then put it back up here. Oh, and switch lenses too. Every single time and take a photo of my paintings. It's not a major thing, but it gets you know, old real fast. Heather says I've been having issues, so I'm not entirely sure. I probably was muted. It's all right. Like I said, it happened. It used to be every stream. Now it's not every stream. So, little improvements. Good. Hold on. There. Okay. All right. I've shown this before, but I have to do it again, so I'll show it again. So this is my panel, and I have to attach it to this board. I just do it with tape. It's my go-to technique. And because I don't want tape on the front, the easiest way would be tape the front, and just stick it on. But I don't want tape on the front, so I do little loops of tape on the back. So just make the little, little loops. Attach it to the back. Now, depending on what you're attaching, like a lot of surfaces, you can get away with just a couple of these. But this plastic stuff does not like to stick very well. It likes to just come off the tape. So I put down an extra lot of it. I am looking at possibly building a what is it called? A wet panel carrier. I kind of need one for later this year. So I was thinking of building one. And if I'm gonna, I have a friend who has has like a shop, and he's got, tools and everything. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go build and cut wood and do all that stuff. Maybe I'll make some kind of panel holder that I can reuse instead of using tape all the time. So we'll see if I can figure that out. Hey Donley, good to see you. How you doing? My stream started a little late today because of my cat Misu. After I showered and I sat down to get ready to to stream, I was getting my what's it called? I was getting all my materials ready and my reference ready and everything. And she jumped up on my lap and curled up into a little ball and fell asleep, purring. And so I was like, okay, I'll just, I'll take my time. And then I was like, man, I'm just going to fall asleep here. And that's exactly what happened. I fell asleep in my chair because of her. Hey, new chatter. Reamram, welcome. I am getting a panel ready to paint on. So this is my panel, and I'm putting tape behind it and putting tape on the back so that I can stick it to my easel. And this is my painting that I just finished, and I'll be starting a new one. Love cats? Yeah, I love cats too. I have 3. They show up on stream from time to time. But yeah, I love cats. How are you doing, by the way? I'm on the phone. Chat. Dunley says I'm on the phone. Chat shortly. No problem, Dunley. Nice drawing. Thanks. Technically, it's an oil painting. I don't take offense. I'm just clarifying. But yeah. That's what I'll be doing today. Oil painting. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. Are you an artist, by the way? A lot of times people that show up here are. Not every single viewer is, but a good amount. You're doing good. How about you? I'm doing all right. Yeah. Now that I'm waking up from the cat coma, there's something about a purring cat on your lap. Personally, it just puts me to sleep. It's so comforting and everything. And I can just sit there and just fall asleep. All right. Just sticking my panel to my board here. The reason I do this is because I stick my panels to my board to a board, and then I clamp that board to another board on my easel. And the reason is so that I can have my my palette also clamped to that same board. That way they're side by side. Otherwise, technically, I wouldn't need it. Although, with panels this small, having the easel clamped down on them isn't the most convenient in the world. Let's see. Ramron said, yeah, I'm an artist. I've tried oil painting, but let's just say I'm not good at that at all. It takes time, I was all digital at one point, and then I went well, like I learned traditional paint. I learned traditional painting with acrylics and watercolor, but I never touched oils. And then I went all digital. And then I decided to get back into traditional mediums, and I went with oil paint. Well, I tried a bunch of things, but clearly landed on oil paints. But it was really a challenge because at that point I could paint, I could draw, like I've been working, for a long time. But my ability to control the oil paint versus, what I could do digitally was quite a difference, and it was very frustrating. It took quite a while to like have my skills in oil paint match what I could do digitally. How long have you been painting? Um, let's see. It's kind of a hard question to answer in the sense of like with oil paints specifically, I've been messing around with oil paints. I think for like 7-ish years, something like that. Um, but but before that, I like I said, I learned how to paint in acrylics and watercolor, and then I was all digital, so uh, a lot longer, lot longer than that. Originally, I wanted to be a comic book artist, and then I eventually got into storyboarding. So a lot of the work and the stuff I did was more uh, drawing and illustration, not so much painting. Painting was more of a side thing that I did. Um, yeah. So now I'm just marking out my center lines. I don't I don't want to use a full grid, but I like having kind of my center lines. It's like a very, very loose grid. It helps me out. I used to grid like do a very, like a 1 inch by 1 inch type of grid. It's very useful, but I prefer to just use other techniques now. All right, there we go. Hopefully, this is roughly in the same area and I don't have to move the camera around too much. Alrighty. Let's see. Donnelly says you don't have a cam set up, what you're currently doing, right? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. I was just moving. I was getting this panel set up. Only thing is it's slightly off, so give me just a minute. So my computer is a little what's it called? Like I can't really access my computer while I paint. I have to take a few steps off camera to do that. So I'm off camera right now, and I'm just going to set up my what's it called? My camera real quick. Just adjust it. So to give you an idea for anyone who's new here, this is what my camera is actually seeing right now. Uh, quite distorted. So I have to distort it and make it, um, look correct. I have these guides set up to help me make sure that I get the, proportions correct. But it's not a very smooth process because the software to do this is not very smooth. But eventually we get it. There we go. That looks close to head on. Yeah, it's crazy how distorted the camera is, and yet, I can make it look uh, fairly head on. So yeah, today I'll be doing a new painting. I don't know that I'll be able to finish it on stream, but I will finish it. The goal is to finish it today and have a video up on YouTube tomorrow about it. Because my goal is to have a new video, a new painting and video up on YouTube every weekday. I'm not quite hitting that goal, but I'm still doing a lot more than I would have if I didn't have that goal. So yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. But yeah, I have a YouTube channel and I post videos, time-lapse videos with voiceover over there. Oh, here we have Misu. Hi, little girl. Yeah, say hello. This is Misu. She's the one who put me to sleep. She's a very, generally speaking, angry cat. But she has a wonderful purr. And yes, she does have a docked ear right here. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's a clipped ear. We did not do that. We rescued her that way. Uh, oh, she's very angry. I don't know if you can hear her complaining. Oh, there's the hiss. She's all growl, no bite, though. Not with me, at least. She will hiss at me and stuff, but yeah, I'm not afraid of her. She never attacks. Isn't that right, little girl? Yeah. Hiss of love, yeah, right? Uh, yeah. Nah, she's an angry little girl. Like she all she, the thing is she hisses at everything, at the most minor stuff. You just do the most minor thing and she like hisses at you. But like I said, she's actually really with us with us, especially with me, she's very gentle. She just is very vocal. However, she's also a guard cat, so if she has the opportunity, she will go after any other cat that comes into our yard. So, not, you know, not the most gentle cat in the world, just with me. Like I said, I'm never afraid that regardless of her hissing or anything, I'm never afraid of her, like, swiping at me or anything. Well, yeah, she what was this? This was months ago, but we had a cat that was coming into our yard, and when we were letting the dog out, Misu took the opportunity to rush outside and attack the cat that was in our yard. That's why she was in quarantine for like 2 months. We had to make sure she didn't have anything, um, which she doesn't. But you know, we had to do that um, because she wanted to, you know, protect the house, I guess. What a bodyguard! Yep. Honestly, it's unfortunate because it's caused more problems than anything positive. But you know, that's the way she is. Hey, Robert, welcome. How you doing today? No, I am going to move this out of the way. Alrighty. Almost finished setting up. I just need to get one of my brushes out to start with. So I keep my brushes in a thing of, oh, what is it? Mineral oil, so that they don't dry out. So I actually have to clean them before I use them because I don't want mineral oil getting into my painting. Let's see. Robert says very well. Starting. Is it starting or starling with freehand? But I'm trying to be loose. Okay, that's good. What are you working on right now? And in what medium are you working in? Unfortunately, you can't share links in the YouTube chat, but oh, you're struggling. Oh, that's not good. I was going to say you can't share links in the chat, but you can share your artwork in the Discord. Um, if you want to, you're welcome to do that. All right. But I mean, unfortunately and fortunately, sometimes struggling is part of it, part of the process. So don't, just because you're struggling, don't get discouraged. That's for sure. You know? Alrighty. Hey, French fries, welcome. How you doing? Pastels. Robert says pastels, soft and oil. Just purchased gouache and we'll try it soon. Nice. Proportions, getting things in the right place. Oh, that's what you're struggling with. Yeah, that is, you know, that can be difficult for sure. Oh wow, I did not realize I do not have any rows out. I'm gonna put out some more of my rows. Yeah, you know, if proportions, I will say this, if proportions is something you struggle with all the time, depending on how it is you struggle with them, um, because there are different ways that you can struggle with proportions. But if you struggle with proportions all the time, my recommendation, and you didn't ask for it, so I apologize, but my recommendation to anyone who's struggling to get proportions right would be to do some practice drawings, where all you do is practice getting proportions right. So you do a bunch of practice drawings, and you don't have to do the whole refined drawing. You just need to draw out the proportions, and all you're trying to do is get better at calibrating from what you're looking at to what you're drawing and getting the proportions right. And so you can do a lot of those real quick because you don't have to do all the details. You don't have to, you just focus purely on that aspect of things. And that can help really fast. So that's something I would recommend anyone who struggles with proportions. Oh, Des is in Twitch chat, and she says if there's a reference photo, you could grid it as well. Yes, you can use grids. You can use grid systems. Grid systems are good. I would say personally, I would recommend practicing. Also, I would practice measuring more. But I would practice without the grid. I think grids are great, and I think using it as a way of getting things accurate quickly is great. But if you feel reliant on it, I think it can be a negative. And that's why I think it's good to practice without the grids at first. But, speed is a thing. So, or time is an issue. So I totally understand that. How you doing, Des? Good to see you. Doing good. Glad you could stop it. Me too. It's been a while. Feels like. I mean, that's not true. You were in the last one. I just haven't been streaming as much. I keep meaning to do like extra streams during the week, and then I end up not being able to. But yeah. It's to the point now where like I'm not even going to say I'm going to do it because like I want to this week, but I don't know that I'll be able to, so I'm not going to even, I'm not going to say it. There's also for proportions, there's other tools that you can use. There's a proportional divider, which if you learn how to use it, is a very useful tool. But I do think the best thing to do in the beginning is practice. You can practice on small. If you work digitally, you can practice digitally, but you can practice small to begin with. Even just like having an image and then trying to draw it right next to it and get the proportions right, even if they're just side by side to start with, and just simple shapes, head, shoulders, height, just trying to get that. And then you move it over to somewhere else, however you paint, and so on. I think it's a great exercise. And like I said, it's very, very low time investment for I think a fantastic return, you know, which I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of anything like that where you don't have to put in a ton of time and effort and you get a huge return on it. Oh, shoot, I almost forgot. Before I do that, I'm going to mark my center lines on my board here, because I'm going to cover up my center lines. And if I still want to use them, it's helpful to have those marks there. If you really, really want to get into proportions and stuff like that, I think they're called the BARG drawings are, and the drawing method is a great way of getting really, really good at that. Um, I did not study those. By the time I found out about them being a thing, it was kind of too late. I mean, too late is not accurate. I could always go back and I could do them now, but I'm at the point now where I don't feel the need for it. I'd probably learn from it and benefit from it. Um, honestly, I just don't want to do it. I'd rather paint and I don't feel the need for it. But the Bard drawings and practice is a great way of getting really good at proportions. And also, I think pencil drawing and charcoal drawing. And charcoal specifically, like charcoal pencils, is a great way of practicing like um, your value. Essentially, the way someone once described it to me, and I think it's pretty accurate, is that uh, like charcoal drawings on um, oh, what's it called? Um, yeah, charcoal drawings are kind of like a dry version of painting with values, and it's a really great way of practicing your drawing and your values. And the other benefit is it's fast and cheap, right? Because you can do charcoal drawings on newsprint, so you can buy a big block of newsprint for cheap, and you can, the charcoal pencils are relatively cheap. All the supplies you need for it are basically pretty cheap, and you can get through them real fast. Um, you know, there's a lot of benefits to it. Oh, Donley says Barg drawing method for anyone who wants to look it up. Okay. Oh, there we go. He put it in YouTube as well. Thanks, Donley. Camera, stop moving around so much. Thanks, Donley. I never would have known how to spell it. I'm fairly confident I'm going to need to put out more black, so I'm just going to do that now. But yeah, as far as going back to some of Robert said pastels and oil, I don't know much about pastels, I'll be honest. I have not messed around with pastels too much. They never um they never made sense to me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, to be clear. I just, for me personally, they never made much sense because, as you can see, I'm working with a very limited palette. So um, I'm used to mixing my colors, and I hate the idea of using pre-made, having to have like a pre-made color for every single color. Um, which is something I had an issue with when I used markers too. It used to drive me nuts. That was definitely something that I found very, very frustrating when I used markers. And then I know some pastels are soft, but they seem messy, and I don't like things that are messy. Um, and especially the ones that do have dust. I hate anything that has dust. That's one thing I have an issue with charcoal. Um, but yeah, Donley says, I'm going to lurk now. Okay, no worries. Uh, thanks, Donley. I appreciate all your help. Enjoy your lurk. For those who don't know, Donley also streams, by the way. He does digital art and uh, yeah, he has really fun streams. Sometimes he does some gaming too, but mostly it's digital art and like what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Pop culture related a lot of times in a fun way. So yeah, he streams by the name of Don Leo, just like his username. It's just Don Lee underscore O, with three H's on Twitch. So he's easy to find. But yeah, check him out. So yeah, this reference has some very strong lighting, clearly, and very high contrast. Um, which is not always my go-to, but I thought this would be a lot of fun. And looking at this, definitely think this needs more red over here. Alrighty. So, speaking of proportions, one of my techniques for getting proportions right, and um, it's one of those things where, once again, I do think it's better done after you practice, being able to get your proportions. Because I could spend the time, I could measure, I could do it the like old-fashioned way, but time is an issue, speed is an issue, so I use other techniques. But yeah. Oh, I will say this, for anyone who is working from reference, like one of the most important things I've found is make sure that your page, if you're doing a, a whole drawing or a whole painting, make sure that your page and your reference are the same proportions. It's so helpful to be able to measure, let's say, for instance, let's say I measure from here to here, and then I put it from here to here, and I'm like, okay, so it's like, let's say if I did that and the hair came to there, I could then, on my reference, I measure that. And then when I come to my painting, I can measure that too. So you can use the edges and the negative space to proportion everything. And even if you don't measure that way, your mind does. And what happens is people will distort their images without even realizing it if the proportions of the pages aren't the same. You can get good enough that it's not an issue, but oh my god, it makes life so much easier, and it's very easy to crop a photo, to proportions. Right? It's relatively speaking a very easy thing to do. Any photo editing software can do that. Most phones can do that, and most pages, most things that you buy have a fall into a general category of shapes. Like they're either 2 by 3, 3 by 4, or 4 by 5 are the most common proportions. Most pages most canvases or pages fall into that category, to one of those, or a 1 by 1, I suppose. But yeah, it's so helpful. All right, I'm just moving this over in Photoshop real quick. Yeah. How did your show go this weekend? Oh, it was good. The show, it was, there's a lot of really cool art. I got to talk to a lot of artists and a lot of people. It was fun. Um, I don't think, I don't know if anything sold. I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know if anything sold from anybody at all. Um, they didn't seem to be putting out. So usually at galleries or at art shows, usually when a painting sells, they put a little red sticker on it, on the like name of it and stuff. Um, I saw one painting had that, but I don't know if they. I think what happened was I think they were getting overwhelmed, the people running it, because they were a bit low on staff. So I don't think that they were actually going out and putting stickers out anymore. Um, I think they were just too busy running the events. So we'll see. I'll find out later if anything sold. It's also open for a few weeks, so even if nothing sold on opening night, things could still sell. I just hope that I know the people who are setting it up. I hope, I just hope they have, paintings sell because that way that'll allow them to do more events like that and, do more stuff. But yeah, otherwise it was fun. Gallery openings, show openings, they're always well, not all. Nothing is always, but generally speaking, they're fun. People are in a good mood. People are usually drinking a little bit. Looking at good art, talking art. Like it's just, can be pretty fun. All right, let me get another brush out so I can start shaping everything here. But yeah, it was. I was surprised though. Like I'd seen some of the artwork, but oh my god, the walls were packed with art. Sometimes when you go to shows, they have like it's very sparse. They'll have one piece and then nothing next to it, and then another piece, and so on. This was not like that at all. This was like um, they arranged it in such a way because there were so many different sizes. They arranged it in such a way to maximize the surface of the wall. So there was a lot of paintings. Um, I'll share a photo on Discord later so you all can see. I didn't even think about doing that, but yeah. I will say I'm not great with crowds right now anymore because of still like ever since COVID, I don't like being in crowds as much. But yeah, that was the only thing. I mean, to be fair, I was never a huge fan of crowds, but now I'm a little more or a little less a fan of them in general. The one issue that tends to happen with group shows, um, these type of group shows, is that you get multiple artists in the show, um, and the artists are all local, so all the artists show up, and the artists invite their friends, so all the artists show up, all their artists' friends show up. That's great. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to meet the art community. That's fantastic. Unfortunately, a lot of times those aren't the people purchasing paintings or purchasing the art. Um, yeah, they're oftentimes not the collectors. This isn't always, nothing is, there's nothing that's always that way, but a lot of times that is the case. So that is the like negative about group shows like that, unfortunately. And in case anyone's trying to get into shows, group shows or anything, be wary. A lot of shows have an entrance fee. You have to pay a small amount, relatively speaking, to get to apply, just to apply, right? And it's usually like somewhere between 10 to 40-ish dollars. That's fine. Um, if the entrance fee is significantly higher, it's uh, usually not worth it, and it's usually a scam. Donley says, yeah, trying to find a way to get your art in front of the right audience is important. I've been trying to figure that out lately in the online realm. Yeah, that it's definitely challenging. I've heard TikTok is a great way of getting yourself out there. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I know. I'm aware that the TikTok ban. I was just kidding. Yeah. Donley says brutal. Yeah, I know. I'll be honest. I don't think I know some people have had success with TikTok. I know a lot of people have, but in art specifically, I know some have, but I don't think it's a great vehicle for a lot of artists. Some thrive. It was the right platform for some, but like a lot of artists, it was not. French fries says TikTok is back already. Is it? I thought it was going to take a little longer than that. That's good. I didn't hear about it being back already, especially given that it's the weekend. It was down less than a day. Okay. I did not hear the news about that. But yeah, I know some, like I said, I know some people have had success on it, but generally speaking, I don't think it's a great platform for artists. Um, yeah. Conley says, oh, weird. I just tested it and yeah, it appears to be back. Nice. Well, good for them, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think like if, obviously I don't use TikTok that much clearly. Um, but I'm trying to think like if I used, I use YouTube a lot. If something were to happen and like the same thing would happen to YouTube, let's say, how would I feel about it? I mean, I'd be upset, but I feel like there's alternatives to YouTube, so they're not nearly as good, but that at the moment, if there what's it called? If there was no YouTube, I bet they'd start becoming a lot better. So I don't know. I'm not I don't know. clearly it was not a big concern of mine. Uh, Toto Herbs says, ha ha ha, it's a lot of work. What, TikTok is a lot of work? Or painting is a lot of work? Because both is true. Painting, yeah, painting is a lot of work. It's also slow, is one of the issues. It's not, uh, it's way more work. Yeah. How you doing today, by the way? That it says, "Oh my God, so slow." Yeah, I know. It's really not a it's not a fast-paced thing. So like things like TikTok, you know, it doesn't it's not a natural, you know, like they don't translate very well to each other kind of thing. Um, yeah. Todorov says I spent the past few years studying under a painter with some other students. Nice. Let's see. Uh, Todorov says, and I finally left because his approach is too slow for me. Like a cloudy day, can't paint, gotta start a new one. Model changed her hair, can't paint, gotta start a new one. Okay. Well, to each their own kind of thing. But I get it. I definitely lose patience and attention after a while, for sure. Des says, I think that approach is all about practice rather than finishing a piece. Uh, yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on the more about the specifics about it, I would say. But I know, what's it called? I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, Russian painters, they're, they're like, they're very strict and academic, like the schools there, or most of the schools, traditionally at least. That's my understanding. And what ends up happening is the painters there, they learn a very like traditional kind of set way of doing things, very strict. And then after they leave school, then they have to they basically, it's very common for them to then branch out and find ways of adapting uh, what they learned to adapting to new systems and new reality and finding ways of being quicker with it and so on. That's my understanding, at least. Uh, Dodorb says, definitely. Have we all have a finite amount of energy and we can put into a painting before we just can't anymore? Yeah. Uh, and then also says yes, he would be like, just go faster next time. Yeah. And then also, I'm like, or get this, we could just try a different way. Yeah. I mean, just once again, some techniques are also like inherently built into them, is a certain speed is kind of built into them. So it does, it just depends, I guess, the best way to I'd phrase it. Uh, Todorb says you're right. Yeah. But I do understand where you're coming from. I did a large painting. It was like 30 by 40 inches, which was it was really fun to work on something that size. It was really nice, but it took weeks to do. It was part of a class at the time, so there were large breaks in between, um, because the class was every week, and so there were large breaks and so on. Um, but yeah, I really lost my patience for it at the end. I was just like, okay, I'm just tired of working on this painting anymore. Like I just don't want to work on this painting anymore. I want to be done with it and I want to move on to the next painting at this point. So I do get that. This is wrong. I can already tell. Yeah. All right. I can see I'm going to need a smaller brush a lot sooner than I thought I was. Let me go grab that real quick. I thought I would be using my larger brush for more, but I can see I'm quickly getting to the point where I'm going to need to use some more detailed brushes. Donley says it sounds like you're finding what works for you and what doesn't. That's extremely important. So it's great that you're getting experience like that at Todorbs. Yeah. Yeah, that was something I I think that's something that everyone needs to learn at some point. And it will change over time. Um, and part of this is something that you only gain from trial and error, right? Like, but learning what you enjoy painting and how, not just painting, drawing, whatever, what type of art you enjoy making and how you enjoy making it, is a big thing. And, you know, it is one of those things that you have to try because you have no way of knowing, how do you know you'll enjoy it or not enjoy it until you try it, right? Old classic, but it's true. You might think something looks extremely tedious to do, but once you start doing it, you might find it meditative and really enjoy it. Um, you know, like there's a ton of paintings that I think are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. Um, but I would never want to paint them because the practice of painting them, I'd have to start glazing. So I'd have to do a grisaille layer, or grisaille painting, and then let it dry, and then I would have to um, do a what's it called? Do a glaze over that and let that dry, and then do another glaze, and so on. And I'm like, I do not have the patience for that, and it doesn't produce the kind of results I want anyways. So why would I even bother? Um, but the but those paintings are beautiful. I appreciate them. I just don't want to paint like that. And I think that is something that is important to learn. But that can take that can definitely take time and practice. All right. I'm just checking my proportions again because this painting has, aside from the silhouette, there's not a lot happening inside the figure. Um, and so it's going to be a very delicate type of thing. All right, there we go. Yep, my initial, when I first laid in the face was wrong, but then my adjustment was pretty spot on. Nice. Yeah, trying to find the right angle for my monitor here. I keep getting glare. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay. So um my red pigment, which is a rose color, and my actually I think my yellow, let's see. So my rose is a um it's permanent rose, and I'm trying to see. um, it is, as far as I remember, and as far as my experience with it, it is transparent or translucent. My yellow is opaque, but it's very weak because yellow is inherently just pretty weak. So adding a little bit of titanium white to the red will help it, um, you know, be more opaque and cover better for certain areas here. But just a little. I don't want a ton of that coolness in there. Some of this is surprisingly hard to see. I like the colors, but this painting is definitely going through some ugly stages right now, like the face specifically. Yeah. I really like the silhouette of this one, and I thought that would be, you know, fun to paint, honestly. Also probably going to be one of the most challenging parts of the painting, but sometimes they're one and the same. Donley says these colors and strong silhouette give it an immediate mood. Yeah, for sure. Has a great feel already, in your opinion? Nice. Well, I'm glad. Now, in the reference photo, the silhouette is very, very sharp. Having said that, I don't necessarily have to have the silhouette as sharp, and I'm okay with it not being quite as sharp because that will give it a bit more atmosphere to it. I mean, I'm not going to blend it out to the point where you can't tell, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be, the edge doesn't have to be super, super sharp. Although I'm not leaving the background like this, I'm going to take advantage of the abstract nature of the background and the large area of it, and I will be grabbing my rubber brushes and my palette knife, and I'll definitely add some texture to the background. Partially because it's not actually getting coverage, so I need to put thicker paint on to cover it. Um, but also because I like texture. I like adding that stuff. I think it's fun. Yeah, the face here is it's funny because it's like a mix. The overall painting very, very stark. Everything's extremely stark, but the face is going to be a very delicate painting, even though it's all very stark as well. There's a bunch of little, very delicate areas in it, which personally I love. I find that stuff so fun. I love the combination of the two. I think I need to check my proportions here. I feel like something is a little off, but one of those things I'm not going to worry too much about it right now, because I know that's a great part about painting in oils. I know I can adjust it if I need to. This has a lot of bounced light in the shadows here. It's interesting. Yeah, I wanted to do some paintings that weren't necessarily portraits. Um, I've been doing a lot of portraits, and not only portraits, but I wanted to do something that wasn't just like a headshot portrait. Uh, so, I mean, like I said, definitely some of the paintings I've done haven't been, but I thought given also the high contrast of this, it would feel even less like a portrait. Of course, I do love portraits. It's not because I lost interest in them, but I wanted to do a variety, show something different. Um, yeah, but I thought some figurative painting that wasn't specifically a portrait would be a nice change. Or change might not be accurate because, like I said, I did do some, especially in the what's it called? Trying to think. No, last week and the week before that, both I did figurative stuff that weren't portraits, but yeah, I think the high contrast of this will make it feel less about the face, even though the face is clearly a focal point. You're never going to get like all the nuance of the face because you're not going to have any of the color because of how much the light is affecting the overall look of the face. So yeah, I think it's more about the overall silhouette and everything in this one, which is why I chose it. I don't think this is actually green over here, but it's just a little more, a little, what's it called? I think it's just there's no warmth or no red here, so I'm overcompensating a little with the green because I already have some of that on my canvas. Oh, I totally misunderstood that. I'm looking at this now a little closer, and there's something that I was like looking at thinking it was one thing, and I totally got it wrong. I thought this loop was her thumb, but it's actually a loop from the dress. Okay. Okay, this part's going to be a little complicated because our hands are actually clasped with each other. Not really that dark, but sometimes you just need to be able to see what you're doing. Okay. Running into the trap. That sometimes happens. So this happens to me sometimes when I'm trying to do detailed work. Um, I end up enlarging things because it's easier, which, makes sense, but it's something to be aware of. When painting wet into wet, sometimes painting detail can be a little challenging. It can be easier. Just wipe it off and not have to worry about it as much. Okay. I know it looks messy right now, but I can see each finger now. So I can now compare it to the, what's it called? The actual reference and see, if my proportions are accurate or not. And then, refine it from there. Okay, my music stopped, and I don't know if that means that my internet is about to go out or not. Let's see. Okay, I guess not. It is getting surprisingly cold here already. Jeez. We're expected to have a freeze tonight and next actually have snow tomorrow. So yeah, weather's getting crazy here. Let's see, already 5:30. All right. Um, let's see. Oh, Heather says something. Heather says I just got notified that my school is closed on Tuesday because of expected storm. 53 years old, and I'm having my first snow day. LOL. Nice. Yeah, we're expecting snow tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say about that. I will say I'm going to be ending my stream now. I am hungry. I want to go get something to eat. Maybe have a hot cup of tea because it's getting already like I can feel the chill setting in. Um, but yeah, Cassandra says, "Oh, I just got here." Ah, I didn't know you were here. Hi, Cassandra. Good to see you. Have a great night. Yeah. You know, sorry, Cassandra. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. Bad timing. But yeah. Um, have a great weekend, everybody. Um, and what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Hopefully, new video out tomorrow if everything goes as planned. Fingers crossed. And yeah, that's all I got. Um, all right, bye everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay warm out there.